and get the presentation.
Sure. All right. So good morning, everyone. I'm so excited about this event, and I hope you are too. On behalf of the entire Wrapup Calgary team, we welcome you to our LinkedIn event with our guest speaker, Adam Brunewski. Adam is a U of C grad that loves to build relationships and experiment with communication. When he isn't traveling, he's building relationships and combining his love of design and communication to share his failures, successes, and process along the way on social media. He tuned in his facilitation and process development aptitude at TC Energy, where he's worked as a project manager, emergency response lead, and investigation specialist. Adam is currently in Belgium in a big data management and analytics master program. He loves self-improvement, business strategy, the outdoors, skiing and camping, and would love to connect with you on LinkedIn. So yeah, that's all. Welcome, Adam.
Cool. Thanks very much for having me. So yeah, before we go into it, I guess I'll be ending at, I think we can probably get through at 7, but we might go to 7:10. But just a couple of ground rules. If there's any questions or comments that you guys have along the way, please just ask them right away. Because if you have a question, it probably means somebody else does as well. If you're comfortable with it or able, if you can turn your cameras on, that'd be great. So then I actually have someone I'm speaking to instead of a blank screen. And if not, that's okay too. No judgment. I know everyone has different situations they're in. And if you're planning on multitasking and like listening in while doing other things, that's cool too. I was in a meeting like that this morning while I was like cleaning my room, and I just turned the camera on anyway. So all good, no judgment at all. And I think my one ask would be that you guys will have a couple of sessions. Maybe instead of breakout rooms, we'll just have some kind of discussion. If you guys are able to, I'd love for you guys to get engaged in that. Okay, so my goal for this session for you guys is that you leave this in the next 50 minutes. You leave having some concrete ideas of how you can use LinkedIn immediately. So something that you can apply like today in the next 5 minutes after we're done, start doing something with this. How we'll get there is I guess kind of 2 big things. One, I'll show you how I actually use LinkedIn. Like what I use it for, how I use it. I've got some case studies that we'll go through of what I've done in the past. And then at the end, I'll do a kind of a live search where I like unprepared and I'm just, what would it look like if I was looking for something today and I have no information about it. So, okay, before we kind of move forward, maybe just a sanity check, just so I have an understanding of where you guys are at. Using the like reaction raise your hand function, how many of you guys have a LinkedIn profile? Okay, I got 2, 3. Rami, do you have a profile? Cool. Okay, everyone's got a profile. How many of you feel, and you can put your hands down or unreact, how many of you feel like you have a 100% like complete profile? And that's purely like a feeling. Okay. Not quite there, Deanne. Okay, cool. So it looks like maybe everyone feels like they have some work to do on the profile itself. How many of you have pressed the like button on something that you've seen on LinkedIn? Okay, a couple of you, and then maybe let's go like a little bit deeper. How many of you have met someone off of LinkedIn, like in person or even like virtually through the screen, or you've been introduced through LinkedIn to someone, or you've developed some sort of a relationship with someone through LinkedIn as the direct means? Cool, Deanne. Would you be open to sharing, Deanne, a little bit more about what that was or what that looked like?
Yeah, so I had a dream job in mind, and I was looking at this awesome project, and I saw that the director of this project was someone who also graduated from University of Calgary, and she's a woman, and she's, from a diverse background like myself. So I was like, oh, she's such an inspiration. Let me send her a message. And then she messaged back and we actually met for coffee. And she actually, we have each other's numbers. And so we've been texting each other ever since. It's
Beautiful.
amazing.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you had a company, was it a company specifically or a job that you saw that was like, that's my dream job?
It was a job.
Okay, you saw a job, you connected with the director just to, what did you put in your message to the director?
So I just said like, hello, you're such an inspiration. Like I see that you're doing this in a, in like in engineering, that is something that I look up to. It's, like it's a very male dominated field. And so like
Yeah.
seeing a woman in there and like succeeding in what she does is very inspiring. And then, yeah, I
Okay.
was lucky enough to
And
message
did
back.
you actually, in your initial message, did you actually ask her to meet up at all, or did you just want to share with her that message?
No, I didn't. I just shared the message and it just happened.
Okay, cool. So what I'm hearing is that you saw something that you're interested in. You saw ways in which you were connected to the person somehow. So the fact that she was a female in a male-dominated industry, yeah, like I think that's a huge piece. I think in a lot of different industries that you'll see that. I think that's a really easy one to connect on. And yeah, she inspired you and made you feel something, and so you just said, thank you for doing what you do. And now you have a connection and you know each other and you are able to text or call or meet up whenever you want. Very cool. I think that to me is like, that's how LinkedIn works right there, is that there's nothing specific you're looking for. You're just like connecting for the sake of connecting. And then I think, for me, at least as I've gone through with time, I've seen that the results come later and in unexpected ways, and you can't plan for it. It's just the same as, I don't know, it's the same as life. Like there's a lot of things that happen randomly and you only recognize the reason for them after the fact. So I think, yeah, kudos to you for reaching out. I think even just reaching out and saying, I'm inspired by what you do is a brave thing. It's a bit of a vulnerable message, but I think it obviously landed with her and you were able to connect off it and you were genuine. You weren't faking anything. And I think that probably came through in the message that you sent. So that is, I think, Deanne, I think maybe you should be like running the workshop, because I think you've got just like use that as the case study and go with it, because that's it. I think you're doing it. So no, really, really well done. Thanks for sharing that. So yeah, I guess now that we've kind of, we kind of know what we're going to be talking about, it's going to be LinkedIn. How do we use it? I'm curious. Maybe we can just kind of, there's a small group of us, but maybe if you guys can take 30 seconds and just think about, in the next, we've got 43 minutes left. What are you looking for? Why did you show up or organize this event? Like, why are you taking Saturday morning to listen to someone about LinkedIn? What is it that you want out of this time? So just take like 30 seconds and think about that. If you have a pen and paper or your phone or something, write it down of like, what is the one thing that you want to get out of the next 40 minutes of time? And I will get a timer going. And that goes for you too, Ismail. You're 100% in. What's one thing that you want to get out of the next 40 minutes? And I guess for anyone that's watching this recorded, that goes for you too. Take the time to actually write down, what are you looking to get out of this? And we got 10 seconds left. Does anybody want to share what they would like to get out of this time?
I'd like to share one.
Sure.
I'm Kathleen Rombano. I'm currently in my last year of civil engineering. Since it's my last year, I kind of wanna seek job opportunities. So how do we make our LinkedIn more effective in terms of seeking job opportunities?
Okay. So making use of LinkedIn as a tool to get hired in a job. Okay. Does anyone else have something that they'd like to share?
Yeah, I would like to share something. So, like I'm a well-rounded individual and I take pride of what I achieved and things like that. So I'd like to highlight that on LinkedIn, but just the right amount of highlight that people are not, oh, she's overdoing it kind of thing. And then also just to get my name out there, because I know whenever you like something on LinkedIn, people see it. And then sometimes like I meet students and they're like, oh, I see your name on LinkedIn. So how do you maximize that sort of thing?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing then like highlighting achievements is almost like how do you humbly showcase yourself without bragging? And how do you effectively market yourself to make sure that your name is out there? Okay. Rami, I saw your hand was up.
I would like to have the opportunity to network with people in my area of study, and also I would like to also like meet people across different disciplines, and LinkedIn makes that possible.
Okay, so you're looking to figure out how do I use LinkedIn to meet other people in my like topic of interest.
Yeah.
Okay, and Ishrat, sorry if I mispronounced that.
No, you said it right. Thank you, Adam. I actually, my needs are a little bit more specific. I already did modify my LinkedIn when I first started at TC, because I attended this kind of session. I know that LinkedIn is one of the like top tools to network, but when I updated my LinkedIn, I didn't have a summary section. And I was told that this is one of the major things that recruiters look for. So from today's session, my needs are, after today's session, I want to be able to create a summary that's effective and that's very quick, that sort of reflects what I have done and what I bring to the table for a potential recruiter, for a potential employer.
Cool. Okay, so you understand the importance of the summary section. You know it's used by recruiters or employers or people in general, and you want to make sure that you want to have the tools or maybe kind of the formula to have an effective summary on your profile.
Yes, and also I guess if there's a Q&A time, I would be able to ask you that later. I have read somewhere that in LinkedIn, media items like photos and articles, they're like more grabbing to people's attention than just like your posts, like what you have done and everything. So these kind of questions I would ask, like what is more effective in regard to like engagement in LinkedIn. So that's the kind of information I would like to get today.
Okay, so how to engage, and this is like specifically what kind of things do I post about to be engaged?
Yes, to be engaging to your audience and to other recruiters who you want to show that you are open to work.
Cool. Cool. Yeah, I think we will definitely be able to hit all of these points. I guess a question for you guys. I think this is probably my third or fourth year like doing and talking about LinkedIn in a more formal way. Do you guys feel like over the last 2 or 3 years, have you been exposed to a lot of this? Like the language you guys are using about LinkedIn, I would say is advanced. Like you guys seem to understand like branding and like you understand what's going on with LinkedIn. This is not a beginner's thing for you. Have you guys been getting a lot of exposure to LinkedIn over the last 2-3 years, or just if someone can share an example of what that space looks like?
I can take that. I can go ahead. I have one really cool example. So I did 2 internships. Right after my first internship, my supervisors and GS, they actually provided me their review and references on LinkedIn. There's a section for that. So they provided that. When I got my second internship and they wanted reference, I think they went in and looked into my LinkedIn for reference. They didn't ask for physical references. And I thought that was really cool, because I know that, it used to be like people are asking for letters of reference or references contact, but now we have made it more accessible to people, where your supervisors and your leaders are giving feedback on LinkedIn. I think that's very cool. So that happened to me. I anticipate that happened to me. So this is a great tool if you guys want to
Cool.
leverage that.
Okay. Yeah. So it sounds like there's a lot of conversations that are just happening either with colleagues, other people at school, like there's an awareness of how it's used and what you should be looking at. So no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Thanks for sharing that.
Adam?
Yeah. Okay. So let's go over, I guess, like some LinkedIn theory that might cover some of these things. I think you're hitting it, but let's just make sure we're all grounded in it. So the way I think about LinkedIn is that, I'm sorry, I look to my left because I have notes over here. And if I'm looking down, I have my phone that I'm like noting the things you guys are saying, just in case you're wondering. So yeah, LinkedIn for me, I think about it as both a marketing tool as well as a tool to like a Rolodex. I don't know if the Rolodex word means something, like the thing that you look through for phone numbers. It is a list of contacts that you can quickly find ways that you're connected to different people. So I would say what it's not is an online resume. I think that's an easy way to maybe think about it when you're getting in. If you're just getting into it and you're starting your first profile, just throw your resume on there and go. That's the right thing to do. But I think there's a little bit more power to it than that. I think the fact that all of your experience is on LinkedIn is one aspect of it, but there's your interests are on there, the references were mentioned, your skills, achievements, certifications, your activity, which is a big one, is all on there. So all of those pieces come together to really form the crux of what LinkedIn does. One thing that I'd say for those that are feeling like my profile is not 100%, I don't want to start connecting with people before my profile is ready. I would say like, no, stop and just like connect with people. It doesn't matter. Everyone knows, especially coming out of university as students, using the tool is more important than having it ready to go, because the point of it is to meet people. The point of it is not an online resume. That's just a piece of it. So I'd say start using the tool today, and as you go, you can kind of pick at making improvements here and there. So if there's anything that you're taking away of like, I want to improve this, like if you're looking to do the summary improvement, don't feel like you have to get your summary really good before you reach out to some director to connect with because you want to have a shiny summary. Just connect with them and do it in parallel. So yeah, I think the personal branding piece is really what all of this is. This is a personal branding thing. If you're looking for your keywords on Google to search of like algorithms, it's personal branding is what you're looking to do. And that's really influenced by your profile, the things that you're sharing, the content that you're posting, the things that you're liking, all of these pieces, both in the algorithms behind LinkedIn and like other suggestions. When people have suggestions for them of who they should connect with, all of these things are influenced by what you're doing. So there's a lot of AI in the background that's kind of watching what you're clicking, what you're adding to your profile, that helps really curate your whole LinkedIn environment. And then, yeah, I think job applications, I know that there is like a job application tool within LinkedIn. Personally, I don't think it's anything special in itself. I think the only cool thing that I've seen in job applications on LinkedIn is that it's all at least in one space. So I can see that there's a job that's available. You can apply for it using your LinkedIn profile. But again, I don't think that's, it's almost like a cheap gimmick in my view. Like LinkedIn is really about human personal connection. And I would, as much as yes, you will likely need to use it to apply to jobs, or can use it as a tool to apply to jobs. The power of it comes in seeing that there's a job posting at company X, figuring out who you know at company X, reaching out to them, having a coffee, or meeting someone new at that company, and then creating a package that you use to apply to the job and kind of having the referrals and things. So that's the power of the job hunting aspect. It's not the application on LinkedIn. It's more so the fact that you have these contacts that you can see. So I think I'm not going to touch on the importance of a full profile. I mean, you want to have these are basics that I think you guys have: a decent profile picture, have like your experience on there, volunteering, Everything that you've been told about a resume, I would say applies here as well. You want to be succinct, make sure to talk about KPIs, deliverables, use numbers where you can, all of those things apply. So have as full a profile as you can. And then to the question on what do I actually post and how do I engage with others? So each of that, I think, the way that I look at how do I engage is about producing value. And I think it's funny because I asked when I came here to my master's, the people that I'm in a program with, a lot of them, for one, Europe and North America don't have the same view on LinkedIn. I found out there's like a German specific LinkedIn that exists. LinkedIn is big in North America, not as big in Europe, but a lot of people have it. But that being said, in the coding and development world, in this industry, maybe it's even less used. And so I was kind of poking and prodding at like, what's the best way to have an online profile or an online portfolio? And that's the way that I would look at LinkedIn. It's an online portfolio of your work. And one of the things that that came up as we were talking about it was that, the typical post of so grateful to have done event X with person at mention, such a cool opportunity, really looking forward to whatever, hashtag. And it's this, and I mean, if you go to my profile and scroll down, like I've done it. I try to do it less often now, but I would say avoid those like humble brags because they're very like obvious and transparent. If you're celebrating something, yeah, celebrate it, but just try to be genuine about it. Just say like, I'm really excited that I just finished school. Like I'm pumped. It doesn't have to be this flowery kind of speech with like, this isn't an Emmy award that you won. Just say what you got to say and move on. But the content to produce, I would say is like, what are you interested in? And if you are looking, can I get an example from someone, if someone has a specific industry or company that they're looking to get into?
Engineering, civil, specific?
Okay, can you be more specific than civil engineering? Are we building roads? Are we building bridges? What are we doing?
How about communities?
Okay, so like urban planning, kind of a thing, maybe? Okay, sure. So if urban planning is where you want to go, then the personal brand that you want is that when I think urban planning, I think Deanne. Like that's basically what you're trying to do. When I think keyword, you want them to think of you. And so that means that, you can set on Google News or whatever like you're using for your news sources, you can set filters, notifications, so that when there's news articles or there's information that comes forward on some topic of interest or some topic relevant to your personal brand, you see it, you read it, and then when there's interesting things, you reshare those on LinkedIn. So those are the ones that are like the easiest things to do. Find content that already exists that you are truly and genuinely personally interested in, and that aligns with what you want to be doing and where you want to be going, and share that to the world. The next kind of step above that is to share that with the world, and it includes some sort of a commentary on it to say that like, I really agree with this for this specific reason, or like, not sure how I feel about this, or ask a question, whatever that is. Even if people don't answer your question, that's okay. It's going to be crickets. Like no one's going to say like, oh, Deanna, you're like, yeah, urban planning is really important. I also like, it's not going to happen, but still you're engaging at least. Like you're connecting the subject with the person. And so that's like the easiest kind of content to be putting out and sharing. And then I would say like the next level would be generating your own content. So maybe you're coming to the end of some course, and you had some idea that clicked for you. You can write a quick blog post. LinkedIn has articles. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect or flowery or nice, but you can just write up a quick 2-3 paragraph thing of, I was in this course, we learned about some topic, and here are my personal thoughts on it. So now you're generating content that you can share with other people. So for me, for example, I'm in data management. So it's a lot of data science stuff. I'm seeing a lot of connections in like how data can be used or how it's not being utilized in organizations. And so I can kind of take, what am I seeing, write out some like, here are the things I'm learning. Here's where I see that there's opportunity, and just put that out. And that is me generating content. What I found maybe a braver way to do it that takes even less time is to do a video, especially if you do no editing, because then you literally just hold your phone up in front of your face, put like your headphones in for a mic, record a 2-minute, like, here's my thought on something, and then just push that out to the world. And whatever happens, happens. For me, it was very uncomfortable doing it the first couple of times. It sucked. I then watched how many likes am I getting, who's commenting, oh my God, I can't believe I did this and talked about this. I sound stupid. I hate the way my voice sounds. All of those things, totally natural. They happen to everyone. I will not watch this recording because I hate the sound of my voice recorded. But that's a really easy way to produce content with minimal effort, because you don't edit. It's very genuine because they're hearing you talk in the way that you talk. And you're, again, connecting subject to the person. So I think that's the kind of content that you'd want to produce. And I'll show you kind of on my profile how I've done some of that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think that's kind of in a nutshell, have a full profile and share or produce content that's connected to who you are, where you want to be, so that people ultimately see subject and author as intertwined. If it's okay with you guys, I'll try sharing my screen now. And let's see, desktop 1. And we'll get into some examples. And let me know, can you see my desktop or not yet? Not yet. Okay, 1 second.
No.
Give me a sec. Screen. I want desktop 1 share. Okay, how about now? We're good. Okay, cool. So I want to take a look. All right, 6:36. Maybe before I get into the next piece, okay, we're gonna get into the next one. So I'm gonna share a couple of profiles that I think are good examples of kind of what to do. One of them, this first one, is my friend Asad. So the things that I see in his profile are the interesting mix of his profile picture. He's smiling, good lighting, professional, wearing a suit. But then the background picture, obviously he's in the field on some sort of a project. So for me, this is communicating. I can be both corporate, but I can speak the language of construction in the field. There's a lot being communicated here. There's also a small nod over here with his hand to the movie Gladiator, as the Russell Crowe walks through a field and gently passes his hand over a field of wheat, which I personally like. And I know that that's his favorite movie. We share that in common. So that's kind of cool too. But generally speaking, you'll just see that I'll drop this link in the chat, but it's a well filled out profile. He's got a couple of key pieces for each one of the roles that he had. And I think this goes for, if you're in school, this would be very much clubs that you're engaged in, projects that you're working on in a class, keeping it to the key learnings or the key contributions that you're making. Even if you're doing a project if you're writing a paper on something and you're working in a team, your key contributions might have been that you are helping to organize the team, or that you're a team player and you're just getting the technical work done. Those are the important things to highlight, not always necessarily the outcome that I wrote a paper or, we did a research study. That is not really telling me anything, but it's more the approach that you took, the process that you took. I would highlight those kinds of things. The other thing, there is now the ability to actually link to media. And I think that came up. If you have a paper that you wrote, it doesn't even have to be a published paper. If you've done something for a class that you're really proud of, or you feel is a higher level of quality, for sure you can post that, because that gives people an opportunity. For me, I can take a look at his capstone project and I get an idea of his communication ability and how those things are communicated. I think in this one, actually, it wasn't written by him, but is rather his project ended up making it into this paper. So it's to answer that question of like, how do you do the humble brag? This is a perfect humble brag. He didn't say, look at me, I so proud of the this was a heat exchanger that he did, blah blah blah. It's more, he just posted this, it's for me to find, and he left it there that way. So I'd say this is if you can get this kind of stuff and then post these kind of accolades just quietly in your profile, that's the best way to do the humble brag. Is you don't brag at all. You just have almost a trophy case that people can choose to look at, but you didn't force them to look at it. Licenses and certifications, if you're doing like online courses and things like that, Coursera, DataCamp for coding, all those kinds of things, usually will have some sort of a certification. Even if they don't, you can just put it in here as like, I finished some online course on some topic. If you are looking to get into urban design as an example, but like you didn't take any urban design courses, it just interests you, you can always take some random course on Coursera, just again, to have, from the algorithm perspective, to have the keywords on there of, urban planning overview by Coursera. From an algorithm perspective, it's another place where the words urban planning are on your profile, if that's the direction you're looking to go. Skill endorsements and recommendations. So I think don't be afraid to ask for a recommendation. If you haven't before, it is totally fine to write your own recommendation, if this makes sense. So when people have asked me for recommendations, I ask them to write me a draft of what they want me to write. Because if you think about it, to ask someone for recommendation means you're asking them to do work. And that kind of sucks, to have to do like more work than I'm already doing. So even on LinkedIn, if you're like, hey, can you write a recommendation? If you'd like, I can draft something for you. And then, I've done that a lot, that I will literally write out the words, give it to them. They can edit it if they want, or they just, post it directly. And it takes the onus off of them to do that. Yeah, so that's Asad's profile. I think my other friend Tyrone, again, headshot's a headshot, but you can kind of guess what industry he's in. This looks like some sort of industrial electronic type thing. Maybe he even works for the company named Wago, but it's pretty clear what the connections are here. Tyrone's in sales, and so if I take a look at his activity, it's quite a bit more active, especially at posts. And I think this is a good, if you're kind of creeping someone's profile and trying to like learn more about them, I think looking at their activity and either what they like or what they post is a really good way to get insight into what things do I have in common with this person. Just based on, because there's always some like non-professional things, cultural pieces that people interact with that are good to have. So I haven't seen his in a while, but I know Tyrone, so he got into like actually posting videos. The quality is kind of it's production level quality. I've seen his setup. He's got lighting. Look, he's doing all this like fancy editing stuff. You do not need to go to this level, but it is cool to know. I think he's actually going through and providing a tutorial on how to use Docker in this case for Internet of Things processes. So he got really into just producing videos, and engagement is really good. I mean, he's got 50 likes, 8 comments. People like to see this type of stuff. It's interesting to them. So a moving picture is that kind of media is much more interesting. Like I'm more willing to stop and hover over moving media than just a wall of text. Even like I'm what is going on? There's melting plastic. Like I'm very curious. What is this? I so badly want to click it and look more at. I'm assuming they're testing how good their plastics do in temperature. So this kind of media is, I think, in my mind, as humans, is like the best way to go in terms of trying to get engagement. So that's his profile. And then I'll show you what I have on mine. I'll drop all of these links so that you guys can see them. So this is my profile for my view. I got into like writing articles, and so you have this featured place if there's things that you're interested in. Some of them are even just like a featured post. So have 3 or 4 of those that, a decent post. This I think is a good example of just what did I do for this one? I think I literally, I was trying to break more into emergency management side of things. And so like deeper into it than I already was. And so I think I went and just researched the incident command system, which is what we were using as a system. I think a lot of this was pulled off of Wikipedia. I summarized the things I found in Wikipedia as like a learning and included a picture. Literally, it's, yeah, I am sourcing Wikipedia as the place that I was at. And all it means is that this is connecting the knowledge that I'm sharing with my name. I didn't tell anyone I went to a conference about it or anything like that. I just shared information. I think that's a key way to make use of LinkedIn, is to give value to people and they'll see you as a valuable person. Was there anything else I want to show you guys? Oh, maybe to just the recommendation side. You'll see, and I mean, I don't think you guys are going to be hiring me for work anytime soon. Maybe in a couple, 3-4 years, I might be looking for a job. I'll reach back out to you guys and you'll be able to hire me for something once you guys are managers and directors where you are. But I just want to show you, like, when you have the recommendations, the way that it looks, like there's more weight. So for me, like, I actively seek recommendations from people. And it's not all just done like last year. They go back to like 2016, 2015. I think this one was like from when I was graduating, 2013. So every now and then I just ask myself, who have I worked with recently that might be willing to recommend me? And I'll just reach out and ask them, can you please give me a LinkedIn recommendation? And it just, and you can see too here that I've given as many recommendations as I've gotten, which is, again, a important piece to do. You're always looking to give value. You can't just take. You always have to be giving more than you're getting, at least in my eyes. Cool. So I think, yeah, that's at a high level. Like, I'll say that's the profile side of things. You can see here, I'm trying to shift my brand as well. I don't remember what my old banner was, but I'm shifting into like data science. I want people to think tech when they think my name and less project management. And so I have a banner that is more representative of that. I would say too, this header piece, you don't have to worry about it being a title that, like, you know, recent grad or looking for work or anything. Connect back to your values and your skill set, and like, what's the top 2 or 3 things that what are those keywords that you want people to be thinking on? So like, here in mine, I put that I'm aspiring to integrate data intelligence. So this is my master's I'm working on right now that I have no idea what's going on, but I'm learning. Project management, this is what I enjoy and I've been doing. People leadership, I'd say there's a lot of informal leadership, and solving wicked problems. So just solving difficult problems I enjoy. So there's nothing in here about the fact that what role I'm in, that I'm a student, that I'm a master's student. Like, none of that is in here. It's more just like, when people think of my name, what are the keywords that I want them to kind of resonate with? And I am thinking too, like, algorithms for like recruiters and things like that when they're searching. So as many of these keywords as I can fit in here, people, leadership, problems, management, project, data, intelligence, they're all in there. If you're looking to get work, fun fact, because I was looking to get work in Saudi Arabia for a little while. If you're looking to get work in a specific country or area, change your current location to that country. It completely changes the algorithms. So if you want work in the US, change your location to the US. If you want work in somewhere in Europe and Belgium, for example, change your location to the place that you're looking for work, because LinkedIn tries to connect you or recommend connections that are more local to where you are. Okay, let's take 1 minute. And we're going to just, from everything that we just talked about, what is one thing that you would like to, or you feel you can apply immediately? What's the one thing from the whole profile side of things or posting or any of that stuff that you're like, yeah, that one makes sense. That's the next thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to put a minute on the clock, and I'll drop these links into the chat in the meantime. and write it down on your phone on a piece of paper, bullet point. What's one thing that that you heard that you're going to do from a LinkedIn perspective? Okay, the minute is up. I'll ask for maybe 2 people to share their thoughts on some takeaway.
I can go first, Adam. I think one of the top 2 things I will do, one, I will take a look at the examples that you sent me, and I'll also take a look at some other LinkedIn profiles that I think are more in alignment with what I want to do, which is energy pipeline in energy industry, right? So I would take a look at that, and I would create an about or summary section for my profile, which was my goal coming into this workshop. A and B, I will look at how I can make my cover photo more in alignment with my career goals, because my cover photo is very generic, and I would want it to have some more value for my upcoming aspirations and endeavors. So yeah,
Nice.
There are 2 things I will do right away.
Cool. Thanks, Ishrat. Rami, are you open to sharing anything that's a takeaway for you?
Like I've learned that LinkedIn is just more than a place where people just apply for jobs, because that's what people made me believe what LinkedIn is. And I've seen the opportunities you could have from like perfectly utilizing it.
Cool. And we'll get into I think we'll get into in a second here exactly how to utilize 9 minutes. Okay, cool. And Ishrat, I think I would say I'm quite proud of my about. It's taken years of crafting and changing and feedback. So if you're looking for some examples, and I think anyone that's in sales has really good examples. Salespeople understand. Sorry?
This is very good, Adam. I immediately I saw that. I'm like, wow. I can I ask one really silly questions? Please don't judge me. How did you get those highlight sections to look like that? That's very, very good.
Oh, totally. Okay. No, that's a really good question. And it is just emoji copy paste. These are emojis, by the way.
Okay. I know as soon as I put them in, they turn to black and white. So it's really cool to see that in the about section for it to retain the emoji shape, right?
Yeah. So I go to I'll search for copy pasting emojis, and then I think that's one of these guys, and you can copy paste it in there.
Okay.
So emojis are emojis are my style. If I'm being genuine, I like color. I try to not be over. If you see some of my older posts, my wife called them cringy because it was too much. And it was too bubbly and over the top. And I was just okay, I'll tone that back. But then for example, for this description, I was just you know what, I'm going to do it. I included 3 colorful, let's see if I can, I included colorful emojis and I just went for it. And you know what, if someone looks at this and they're we can't hire this guy, we don't like his style. Perfect. I don't want to work for a company where putting a robot emoji in a profile is seen as unacceptable. Not a company for me. You self-select out.
So fun to look at. I immediately when I saw your about, I am gravitated to it because I'm looking at colors, because that's how our mind and our brain is supposed to work, right? So I'm looking at it. And this is so perfect, Adam. Oh, you're using emojis in your actual profile too. That's great.
Yes, this is a check. This is another emoji here because a lot of people don't have that. So when you're
Mhm.
scrolling through the sea of people, you'll see a blue like ring around my face, which no one else has, and you'll see a green emoji. So it's just color. So it just catches people's attention. But
Yes.
again,
Yes.
don't worry about using LinkedIn if you don't have those things. Pick away at it on the side.
I really
Yeah.
like the formatting of it. And also, Adam, I definitely would leverage what you just showed me. Like your about section is really well tailored. I think I'll take a look at that. I like the way you highlighted your like key accomplishments. I thought that goes in the accomplishment section, but I can totally see how you thought. Like what was your thought was you're bringing in your achievements and showing it the first thing. Like sort of, it's like you said, it's a gentle brag. It's very good.
Yeah. No one's going to get, very few people will actually read your entire LinkedIn profile. And most of them would probably you guys, I mean,
Mhm.
even me, I read like the first couple words here, some random one in the middle, maybe something at the end. And then I just saw like, oh, something, 16, something, 20. So like your eyes will kind of follow both numbers and color.
Yes.
So
Yes.
aesthetically kind of think how you can use that. So
Yes, absolutely.
um,
Thank you very much.
you're
This is
welcome. You're welcome.
this is actually what
So
I'm going to do right after this session.
perfect. Okay. So I want to get into I'll go into like one like super quick case study, and then I'll do a live kind of a search. Okay. So what you're looking at here is the notes that I took after I met someone on LinkedIn. So at this period of my life, so this was November 6th, 2020, I was looking to get into a job in data. I found this company, Visser, the Center for the Study of Existential Risk. They were doing some cool stuff. They had a job posting. I wanted to get the job. And so what I started doing is I searched for people that were already working there, reached out to them, asked them, said, hey, I saw this posting. I'm interested in applying. I'd like to learn more about the organization, what you guys are working on, and if this would be a good fit. So usually I try to approach these things like, I'm not asking for a job. I'm looking to see, do I want this job? And then do you guys want me? Every job interview is, there's two people at that table, one that's going to offer potentially and one that's going to accept potentially. So it all depends. So on the left here, these are like notes. These are live notes that I took while we're on the phone, as we're in a chat. If you're meeting with people in person, I usually just ask, do you mind if I take notes on my phone? And I'll be taking notes as we're chatting. The reason I'm showing you this is because when it comes time to then apply, I looked through these notes and I took the pieces out of it and I put them into my cover letter. So I won't go through every single one of these. Maybe I think this one, I can probably share this maybe with someone from YPAC and you guys can distribute it if there's interest, just so you can see like, look, here's like the rough notes, here's how it was applied. I'll go to these red ones, for example. In here, at some point, Sam told me that a typical project, I got this nugget that he said that understanding the metrics and evidentiary, I think he was very well spoken, evidence basis would improve the status of the center, and conversely will improve the work of the center in the future. And I was like, ooh, that's a very key thing that he said. Let's see if I can integrate that. They also said that different program coordinators help to understand different way researchers speak. Okay, so the role itself was a program coordinator role. And so he was saying that the program coordinator, one of what things that they can do is to find researchers get money in different ways. And so if you then look a week later, when I was working on my cover letter, I included that I understand their needs because I met with people and I understand the needs of the organization. And I understand that they are looking to grow their reputation. They're looking to, there's in some other part, effectively track and report and look for potential research sponsorships. So I directly took a conversation I had with someone that worked at the company and was able to apply it in my cover letter or my resume. And this can go for like values, the culture of the company, like all of these different ways is how you can put it in. I think from a culture perspective, I don't know how well here, maybe I can zoom in. There was this kind of line that he shared with me of being innovative in thinking through ways to engage with people in our current remote environment was something that they were kind of looking for. And so I included finding innovative ways to engage with our community was something else that I included. So very one for one, like once you have an hour-long conversation, you'll have so much information that you can draw into your cover letter. And this for me is like a big, you know, when you're looking for work, this is kind of the point of LinkedIn, is to find the people, connect with them, talk with them, get information to make your application actually make sense, and to also make sure that what you're applying for is something that you want. So I'll share these two, and maybe if you don't hear from me guys, please just remind me that I said I'm going to send these. I'll PDF them and send them over as just an example of how that works together. Just for some stats and some numbers from this particular job search, I reached out to 13 different people to connect. In every connection, I put in a little like message. 4 of those connections actually accepted my request. So we went from 13 to 4. With 2 of those people, I actually had an extended chat. Like we went back and forth for more than a couple of lines. And then 1 of those people I had a call with. Okay, so 13 invite connections resulted in 1 call. So there is a bit of a game of numbers here. And just recognize that, you know, you'll have to, it's like fishing. You have to cast your net to get people to actually connect with you. Cool. So let's do an example now. So I asked my friend Ismail, I said, Ismail, what job do you want to get when we're done our program? And his response was something in the energy sector. I was like, okay, cool. Something in the energy sector. Do you know any companies? He's like, I don't really know what companies, like renewable energies. I don't know what companies in the energy sector. I was like, no worries. And what kind of work do you want to be doing in the energy sector? And he said, maybe data science, maybe machine learning, something to do with like, you know, back-end stuff. And I was like, okay, great. I've got keywords. So the first thing that I did is I went to Google and I typed in renewable energy companies, Europe. I scrolled down a little bit. And then I saw Investopedia had the 10 biggest renewable energy companies. Cool. I clicked it, scrolled down a little bit more. For me, like I didn't recognize some of these. Again, it's Europe, so I'm not familiar. I've never heard of Ørsted personally, sorry. Iberdrola, never heard of them either. Jinko Solar Holding, didn't recognize it. Vesta Wind Systems, never heard of it. Siemens, I've heard of this company. I think that they build, what's it called? Chairlifts. And I go skiing. So I was like, yeah, Siemens, and they do elevators. They seem to be in a lot of space. I was like, all right, I recognize Siemens. Let's go for Siemens. So I opened up LinkedIn and I just typed in Siemens. And as I was typing, I realized, oh, there's Siemens, the company in industrial automation, and there's also Perfect. There's a Siemens Energy, renewable and environment. So I clicked on that. Now I have a company, Siemens Energy. The next thing I did, and literally I did this, guys, like 45 minutes before we started. So I just kind of clicked around. I don't know much about what they have, but I took a look at jobs. I saw that like, I don't really know what all these are, but I know that Ismail told me that he's looking for something in data. So I just typed in the word data as a keyword. Okay, a lot of these are like a head of something, director. That seems a little bit more than I'm looking for, but I found this one that says data analytics specialist. That looked pretty good. And then we are in Europe. That's what I'm looking for. Perfect. 2 + 2 years of experience. Great. So you can look through, you know, is this a good fit for me? Yes or no. But what do you do with this information? You could just hit apply, but I'd say don't. I don't know if they actually tell you when it's going to be open until. Let me see if I can move this guy. So I'm not seeing like a closing date for the posting. Sometimes that'll be in here, but either way, I would say like take 2 or 3 days and do a little bit of mining. So for this one here, it said for school alumni. You might see something else of like how you're connected to people, but I just clicked it. And it turns out, because on my profile, I have the school that I'm currently going to, it shows that I'm connected to these 4 individuals that are all alumni of my school, and they're currently working for Siemens Energy. So just looking at them again, I saw this one was an account manager. I was like, I don't like starting with like leadership level people because they're pretty busy and it's just tougher to get time with them. I saw a head of power generation. That doesn't sound at all like data stuff. Project manager might be a good one. But this guy here, just from the profile picture, it looks a little bit younger. It says engineer. So this one I might be able to connect with. This one, from what I can see, account manager and power generation. So nothing to do with data at all. Yeah, just more like he's in sales. This guy is an account manager, so he's selling stuff. But I did see that, okay, yeah, we went to the same school. He has ULB on here. I can look to see what I'm doing now. My thought process is, okay, I am looking for people that are working in the company that I'm interested in, that I can reach out to connect with, to hopefully get some sort of a coffee or a virtual meeting to ask them questions about the company, about the culture, see if I really want to work there, and then hopefully get them to give me 2 or 3 other contacts that I can reach out to. Now I'm kind of looking through, is there anything that I can pull out of here that that we have in common? And I'm seeing that he has application of acoustic emissions, digital image correlation for monitoring concrete hydration. That sounds like, I guess, civil engineering. Interesting. So he's got civil engineering. Is there anything else that I can pull out here that we might share in common? I'm not seeing a lot, but that's okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to connect with him. Lawrence Seggers. Okay, let's connect. I want to connect. I'm going to always add a note. And I'm going to say, hi, Lawrence. I found your profile as I was looking at Siemens. Ooh, is it Siemens Energy? Yes, Siemens Energy for some. Am I looking for job opportunities? As I was looking at what Siemens Energy is doing in renewable energies. Now, although I'm looking for a job, I don't want to say I'm looking for a job. I want to say I want to learn about what Siemens Energy is doing with like data science, or if he knows how they're applying data science to what they're doing. So I'll just say I'll kind of name drop that I'm currently at ULB, so the university that we shared in common. Completing a master's in big data management and analytics. And I am curious if, okay, here's a good one. So part of my master's will include writing a thesis. And this is, again, an easy way that I can add value. So I'm not going to ask for a job, but maybe I'm going to see if there's some opportunity that I might be able to work on a thesis with Siemens Energy. So I'm literally trying to give him free work and time that I can go research something. So that's probably well right here. So I'm curious if there might be an opportunity to collaborate on a thesis. Here. Let me know. Perfect. And I was lucky enough to only still have 20 characters left. I'm going to check to make sure I have no typos in his name. Looking at what Siemens Energy is doing with renewables, currently at ULB completing Perfect. Send. So I would have taken that particular message, copy paste into a Word document, and then probably done something similar for, there's those 3 other guys. I would do it for those other guys as well. But I can also just click on Siemens Energy, the company, and just see all of the people. It has 21,000 employees. Within the employees, I can also search by data as a keyword and see, I want, let's say I'm interested in working in Germany. Why not? So now I'm searching by Germany and data. And now I can see all the people. Oh, this is great. So I have a head of data center services, data analytics excellence. Who is David? Enabling data and analytics value chain, strategist, evangelist. This guy's probably got a good profile. If you're looking for a good profile, just the words he's using. I like the way this guy sounds like he's passionate about data and evangelizes it. Data governance. Ooh, I like this guy. So he would be one. The other thing that you can do to see like, how can I connect with someone? How am I doing for time? 7:09. Okay. You can see if they're posting anything 5 months ago. So he's not super active in posts, doesn't post very often. But yeah, it seems like he's really ingrained in data. Let's see if he liked anything recently. David, this 1 week ago. Okay, so he's active on LinkedIn. Welcome. Let's make sure we meet soon, either in Munich or in the mountains. Okay, so this guy likes the outdoors. Okay, so what do I know about David? I know that David is passionate about data. He's active on LinkedIn and he's into the outdoors and the mountains. I can now, again, connect with him. Can I actually connect with him? Sometime, yeah, more, connect, add a note. Hi, David. Most of the time, I'm just going to copy paste things from other ones I've done before, but let's just do another one here as an example. Our profile popped up in my feed. That's kind of a lie. I mean, it did pop up. I was searching random things and I came across his profile. Let's say it's smudging the truth a little bit. Your profile popped up in my feed. And what caught my attention? And your passion about data governance. So one of the reasons that I was looking at that other roles with Caesar is that I am interested in like the ethical use of data. Data governance is more within a company. How do they decide how data is used? About data, I'll say specifically, maybe the implementation of data in supply chain, because I think he did say, yeah, supply chain strategy. I will be starting a thesis for my master's next year and was wondering if there might be an opportunity to collaborate. Siemens Energy. Let me know. And so rinse and repeat. There's nothing that special at this point. Is there a typo on your that's going to really annoy me? Let's just hit send. I hope I spelled his name right. So nothing special. I'm just going to do that over and over again with at least 20 people, and maybe 3 of them will get back to me. I do want to show you guys, I took some screenshots. We're at 7:11. I'm just going to check. Is it okay if we do like another 4 minutes?
Adam, I think it's really good if you could like keep going ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
If anyone needs to drop off, I mean, it's a recorded session. If you have to drop off, no worries. It's recorded, so you can share with other people. And I mean, I'll get value of this. I can share with my friends as well. So I'll keep going for maybe another 10 minutes here.
No, I'm learning so much as I go because I have trouble with all the points you were touching on now. So I'm finding like a ton of value in what you were saying.
Perfect. Okay, then we'll keep going. All right, so this, let me just get from my other screen. This was something like last week. I've got a project that I'm working on that seems impossible to solve. And so one of my friends in my project team suggested that we reach out to like people that are developing this database, that actually like work on the database. And so that's what we started to do. And so here's an example, just as a screenshot. There's this guy, Devrim Gunduz. The database I was looking at was this PostgreSQL database. And so this was the message that I sent him, that I'm working to improve. This is going to be like super, I guess, to the question of like connecting with other people that are in your industry or in your space. this would be a good way to do it. Is there some problem that you're dealing with in your space that others might be able to help you? So Rami, I think if you're kind of looking at how do I connect with people that are in my area of study, in my master's or PhD or whatever it is that you're doing, just search by keyword, same that we did as for jobs, but just search by keyword of whatever you're interested in to see who comes up, see what they're working on, kind of, poke around different profiles, and you'll find people that are working on interesting things. And I think the message can be like, I'd love to connect and just like geek out on topic X. Like I want to just meet other people interested in, I don't know, the clutch design in Formula One cars. If that's what you're into, you will find other people that are into that. So with this guy, I got very specific that I'm working to improve range type selectivity and join analysis for range type query planning in PostgreSQL. He'll know what that means, I hope. I'm in my master's. I'm hoping we can connect to see if there's some way to contribute to the community. So it's an open source database. So again, the underlying theme is that I'm trying to give value as much as I'm trying to like talk to him to like kind of get an answer to my project. I am looking to also say, I want to give back to the community. I want to try to contribute to the community, not just get my homework done. And so that's the kind of message that I put out there. But this is how I did it. I literally had this message and I copy pasted this to Dimitri, Alexander. This Dimitri Fontaine guy was actually one that we met in class. So I was able to change the message for him a little bit. Yeah, I basically just did this over and over. There's one guy I couldn't find. I found like a Git page of his, which is a place where people keep their data for data science. And so I used Twitter for the third time in my life over the last decade. And I believe this is called doing an at someone. I added this guy Euler with the exact same thing. I heard back from one person. Let's see if I have that. David Kramer, I heard back from. He's a guy that lives in Ontario. He basically said, I don't think I can help you. And so I quickly just said, hey, is there someone else that you can point me towards? He wasn't able to, but he gave me this good. He said, the best thing to do is post on Hackers. And I was just like, oh my God, what is Hackers? I have no idea. Well, so I just searched Hackers. And then the technology I was looking at was PostgreSQL. And so I very quickly found, oh, there's some sort of a Hackers website. And so I was like, great. So he was able to give me something. And I got to say, honestly, between just looking at LinkedIn for the key names of people, plus that, I was able to get some information. Because then if you look, I looked at this Alexander Kortkov guy. And he's actually like a main contributor to this community. And I ended up finding like an email exchange, a public email exchange between Alexander and some guy from like Norway. Here, let's actually just see if I can find it. And just being able to read through it was what I needed. Selectivity, I can't find it right now, but being able to read through that was what I needed to actually kind of get some ideas going. So this one for me, like, I mean, it didn't work that well as I was hoping. I think, again, this community of like developers and programmers is maybe a little bit more reserved, not as social on like LinkedIn. Maybe they're hanging out in a different space I haven't discovered yet. But, I at least this was kind of the approach that I took to try to figure that out. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop here on like the approach, and maybe let's just kind of take questions, and you guys can tell me like, what did you see that you're like, whoa, why did he do that? Like, let's just take questions. Remy.
So I would like to know if like my social media, like for example, like Instagram or Twitter, have any sort of influence or count as an addition to LinkedIn, or it doesn't matter at all?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, okay, that's perfect. That's good to know.
For me, like I include my email on LinkedIn. At least I think so. I think there's some privacy setting that you can make sure it's not like public, but only available to people that you're connected with, so that at least the internet can't scrape. Because there are applications that scrape LinkedIn for emails, and then they'll send you like information on whatever industry you're in. So it is possible to scrape it for let's say corporate spamming purposes. But yes, I post my email on there, and there's nothing else you really need.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
Ishrat.
Hey Adam, I wanted to know how important it is to have a premium account on LinkedIn.
It's not.
That's good to know.
The premium account gives you the ability. You probably have that like three months free or 1 month free.
I believe it's 14 day now.
14 days.
I think so. It's 14 days. I'm not fully sure, but I don't want to give out like wrong information. But I think it is. But I mean, premium account, I think you can message unlimited. Like if you want to message and you're messaging a lot of people, I think you can only do it to 30 people if you don't have the premium account, right?
Okay, I'd have to take a look. Maybe it's been a while. I haven't done that. Like, I mean, in terms of connecting people and leaving a note while you're connecting, I don't think there's no limitations there, but premium does give you the ability to directly message people right into their like inbox without having to be connected. So that's a bonus. But from my personal experience, it's unnecessary. If you want to take a look at it, you can always just do it for a month. I don't know what it costs, like $15, $10. Try it out, see if it's worthwhile. I remember I waited until everything was perfect, and I was like, okay, now I'm going to get premium and like really go at it. And like for one, I got premium and I didn't go at it. Like other things came up anyways, and I really didn't find that there was that much additional value. I think with premium, you also get access to LinkedIn Linda, like the learning system. So they have a bunch of courses that you can take. So if I did do like a project management professional designation training program through LinkedIn for free because of that. So maybe if there's lots of learning things that you're looking at, then there might be value there. But generally speaking, for everything we talked about, no need for premium.
I took premium for the same reason, Adam, for a technical writing course. I did that, and that was the last time I did premium. But at the time, I had unlimited message options. So I was just curious, to be honest. I don't want to, like, I know, like, with premium now, like, I also don't want to be spending the money. So I wanted to know if I can find value without having to subscribe to premium. And yeah, it's good to know that I can. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Anything else come up for you guys while I was doing the crash course on what I do?
Yeah, I was actually wondering, like, how do you think people feel when they see my name pop up and they're like, who viewed your profile list kind of thing? Like, is it weird, or is it like, hey, this person is looking at my profile? Okay.
No, it's not weird at all. Here, let me share my, I'll share my screen again. You can see my, wait, I want to see your video. Can I see that? Okay, I'll just show you. So if I go to my profile and I say, who's viewed my profile? So Mohammed, that's the guy sitting right beside me, viewed my profile. No idea who this guy is. I probably just popped up in his feed. Cool. Isha viewed my profile.
Yes.
No, there's nothing creepy about it. It's totally normal. You know what was interesting actually? These guys are guys that I reached out to about that Postgre question. They looked at my profile, but they did not accept my connection. So either they're very picky about their network, maybe they get lots of requests, I don't know, but they chose to not. A lot of these guys looked at my profile, but did not accept. Like, okay, whatever. So it is. Remy, I saw him pop up. So this was an interesting one because he's a software developer. I think, let's see, he's in Belgium. So that means like something in the algorithm is starting to click over for LinkedIn, and they're thinking, okay, Adam's doing things in data and he's in Belgium, because for some reason, this guy clicked on my profile. What I would say is that if you see other people clicking on your profile, I would take a look at who they are. And I would even like, here, why don't we do this one? I'm going to, oh, did he follow me? No. Sorry, this is someone that reached out to connect with me. Cool, I'll just accept. So he reached out to connect. I don't know him, but I won't just accept blindly. I never just accept blindly, but I will message him. Now that we're connected, and I will just say, oh shoot, sorry. I'll basically reach out to say, we haven't really met before. I noticed that you reach out to like connect with me. I'm curious what caught your attention about my profile, and I'd love to get to know you and kind of see what you're about. Basically, just like reach out and say like, let's meet. For me, I at least want to have like a half-hour discussion with anyone that I've met on LinkedIn, because in the future, if I need to ask them for something or get a reference or whatever, if they want to ask me something, it won't be comfortable for either of us to do if we've never actually met. And so it's a meaningless connection if we don't know each other. So yeah, I would say there's nothing creepy or weird about like, I would say don't be anonymous when you are like looking at people's profiles, because that's another way that you're getting your face out there. I have in the past just gone and clicked on like 100 people's profiles just so that I pop up and they see me. And then usually what happens is they'll be like, who's this guy? And we'll take a look at it. Yeah, nothing creepy. If anything, it's like, it's a tactic. It's a thing to do. Anything else? Okay, I wanted to just
I have a follow-up.
Yeah.
In regard to that profile lookup, how appropriate it is if you have a job interview and you know who is interviewing you, is it appropriate to look at their profile to get a feel of what they are and what their background is? Totally,
absolutely. Like it's there, it's public. Like I would be surprised if someone didn't. I'd be like, why wouldn't you? And especially, and then even if you show up to the interview, like what an easy way to make small talk more meaningful. If you show up to the interview and you've seen their profile and you're like, oh, hey, like I saw that you posted on like your son's hockey tournament that you were at. Like I actually used to ref that sport or whatever it is. Like it gives you things that you were able to bring up so that while you're in the interview or while you're doing whatever you're doing, you can connect more quickly on a human level instead of talking about the weather. So I would say 100% look it up and feel very comfortable to bring it up.
Right.
It'd be weird if you try to be sly about it and you're like, oh, hey, like, are you into hockey? And you're like, that would be a little bit creepy. Cause like, how do you
yes.
know?
How
you
do
just
you know?
Very upfront of like, oh, I was just checking out your LinkedIn profile and whatever. Like it's a public thing. People understand that and that's fine.
Okay, great. Yeah. Thank you, Adam.
You're welcome. Okay, Kathleen, you mentioned that you were looking to figure out how to use LinkedIn to get jobs. We talked about there is the functionality of applying, but I would say to answer your question directly, it's finding people that are in the company that you're looking at, or finding people in the knowledge area or the industry that you're looking at and meeting them and talking to them and having people that know you. And when it comes time to actually apply for the job, you'll always be able to then go back to those people that you met and be able to say, oh, I met John at the company I'm about to apply for. Maybe he can give me a referral link. Maybe he can send my resume directly to the hiring manager. Maybe he can help out because he knows who I am. So that I would say is the tool of LinkedIn to get jobs. Deanne, you were asking about highlighting achievements on the profile. So we talked about doing that through just including it in the profile as opposed to explicitly posting about the achievement that you talked about. Marketing yourself is everything we talked about, personal branding of pushing out content that's related to what you're doing. So I hope that kind of answered your question. Rami, networking your area of study, basically what we did for job search, just applying it with any keywords you have in your topic of interest. And then meeting people across the industry, same thing. The way that I reached out saying, I think for you, it'll be even easier, Rami, because if you're looking to just meet people in your area of study, it's a, hey, I noticed that you're interested in this. I'm really passionate about thing Y. You seem to like thing X and Y. I would love to just meet and like talk about that and see what you're doing in that space. It's a normal request to make. And then Ishrat, you were looking for the summary section. So I think we hit that pretty well.
Yes.
And how to engage with others. So yeah, liking, I think commenting on things, like feel free to start discussions with people, disagree with people respectfully if you feel it. For me, like I got a bit, some things I avoid, like COVID discussions and like anti-vax stuff. I was like, just from a personal boundaries, I just don't have the energy to engage in an online debate on it. So I avoid those. But generally, like engage in things that are interesting to you and have a conversation in a public way. It's another way, Deanne, for you, that's another way to kind of showcase your interest. People see like, oh, Deanne is talking about this topic. She seems kind of knowledgeable about it. And that's another way just to ping your name with some topic. So did you guys feel like if you take a second now and kind of look at what you wrote down as that original objective, do you feel like your objective was met from this, I guess, like hour and 20 minutes?
Yes, 100% for me.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely. I learned more, more than what I asked.
Cool. Cool. Well, I think that's all the content that I had. Thanks for letting me go over time. I get really